As the race to occupy the coveted position of Senate President in the 10th National Assembly continues to gain steam, Chief Whip of the Senate and Senator representing Abia North in the National Assembly, Orji Uzor Kalu, says the Southeast deserves the Senate presidency. The former governor of Abia State, who addressed newsmen at the State House Abuja on Tuesday, said that if the Senate presidency is zoned to the Southeast, it will be the best for the zone, and he will be the best candidate that can bring about needed unity and peace across the country. Senator Kalu spoke after a private meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Take a look.
Senator Orji Uzor Kalu is one of the few ranking senators left in the ruling party from the Southeast after the Labour Party's tsunami during the February 25th elections. But he is not discouraged that the Southeast region contributed the smallest amount of votes to the victory of the APC in the presidential and National Assembly polls. Neither does he subscribe to the argument that the poor showing of the APC in the region during the elections should determine what positions should go to it.
Peace and peaceful of this country is more important than number of votes we have brought. I want people to realize that we need to concentrate our energy in manufacturing things out of Aba and Newi and all the rest of them.
Senator Kalu's conversation with the president focused on key issues and realities in the red chambers, particularly on the determination of the 9th Senate to enshrine a lasting legacy of people-oriented legislations. What is important to the Senate Chief Whip is equity, fairness, and justice, which he believes zoning the Senate presidency to the Southeast will accomplish.
I think that I will be a solution to what they're looking for. I will be a team Nigeria. I will play Nigeria first, Nigeria second, and Nigeria last.
While Senator Uzor Kalu is grateful to the federal government for the huge impact it had made on the entire infrastructural landscape of the Southeast in the last 8 years, he believes the Southeast Senate presidency would be an icing on the cake. And his bargaining chip is peace and unity. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
I recall that the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Jibril Barrow, had also indicated interest in the Senate presidency. Here are some of his reasons.
So, here, if you are talking about such sentiments, even, Northwest deserve to be given the Senate presidency because we gave the president the highest votes. And we want our president to go for second term after this election, after this one. We want him to go for second term because we saw what he did in Lagos, transformed Lagos to become an economic El Dorado. So we wanted to replicate that here in Nigeria, replicate that for the entire country. And he was able to do that when he served 2 terms. So we want to give him more votes, more than what we gave him in the just concluded election in 2027. So you need to reward, performance. You need to reward performance. So that sentiment wouldn't fly. Bringing religious sentiment to it wouldn't fly. The legislature is an arm of government that needs to work very hard to check the executive. So when you bring this kind of sentiment into the activities of the legislature, you are not doing well for this arm of government.
And so far, former governor and current senator from Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, as well as Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State, have also indicated interest in vying for the Senate presidency. However, the question of who gets what in the National Assembly remains, as not much is known about the trajectory which the ruling APC is likely to take as the 9th Assembly reaches its crescendo. Today's conversation on daily politics will focus on the legislature and the question, who gets what? Hello viewers and welcome to the program. I am Hamza Idris. Joining me this evening to share their perspective on the issue, I have in the studio Yusuf Zongo. He is an in-house analyst for Trust TV and also the opinion editor for Daily Trust. We will also be joined shortly via telephone by Honorable Baba Abubakar Suleiman. He's a former minority leader in the 7th House of Assembly in Bauchi State. He was also Director General Bauchi Geographic Information service. Welcome to the program. Malam.
Malam,
welcome.
Yes.
After the elections, it's like Nigeria is just on celebration mood and maybe competition mood.
Yeah.
You know, we just produced the president, and now the power tussle has moved to the National Assembly, even though they still have more than 2 months to go. Don't you think they're supposed to clean up some of the bills that they have, you know, in their offices, in the chambers and all that?
Well, not for a Nigerian politician. He looks forward to what he becomes next. Because, you know, the problem in this country, we take politics as a business, not as service. So it's not surprising that the trading has started and people are saying, who guess what? And I'm supposed to. You've seen lots of rights up coming up and press conferences being sponsored by the
contenders.
Yeah, you know, that group says we are the best, our candidate is the best, or another group saying, look, our region deserves to produce a speaker or deputy speaker or something like that. So I think it's not surprising as far as Nigerian politics is. And, you know, for those who are experienced, the earlier the better, because otherwise, by the time you try to say, look, I'm going to play by the rule, I'll wait till the zoning formula is out, you'll be left catching up when the party decides.
Yes, why I'm asking whether it's really the right time is because we still have some important bills, you know, pending there. And one problem, especially with Nigeria, I don't know, I don't have the information, whether it is the same in other climes. You can see now any bill that did not sell through, any bill that, you know, did not pass through the National Assembly and assented to by the president, it becomes a wasted effort.
Yeah, it has to start afresh. But just what I said earlier, you know, in Nigeria we do things differently. Ordinarily, the business of the election should have nothing to do with the business of the National Assembly or the legislature, because we have a structure there. So the structure should continue and nothing else. I believe if you take a count between yesterday when they resumed to today and maybe tomorrow, you see maybe the seats may be half empty.
Yes.
Or maybe a quarter, only a quarter or so have returned, because those who manage to scale through will be eyeing what position they are going to take. Now that they are also what they call ranking assembly members.
Yeah.
Those who have lost out will be thinking of, okay, what next for me? Will I get something in the next government, either at state or national level or what? So they will lose interest in the activities
matters.
of the activities.
Very
of the
funny. Yes,
Assembly.
we are now joined by Honorable Baba Suleiman. Welcome to the program, Honorable.
Welcome.
Yes, before you join us, I was asking Malam Zongo here in the studio that is it not too early for members of the National Assembly, precisely Senate, to start scrambling for ranking positions, right? Yes, Senate President, Chief Whip, you know, Deputy Senate President and all that, because we still have almost 2 months to round up the legislative year. Don't you think it's premature for them to start scrambling for positions in the Senate?
Oh, I don't think so, because there are 3 levels of politics. One, the first level is the level that somebody is aspiring for a position. At the politics at that stage, at the primary level, your party to accept you and endorse you to contest an election, which has been already gone. We have seen it. Then the second level is the general election. The politics at that level is also different. And the last level of the politics is that of forming government, which is currently being executed now. As you can see, so many ranking members of national assemblies from the House of Reps to the National to the Senate. They are going post poll to see how they can be their party accept them to be as either the Senate President or any of the presiding officer or leaders of the National Assembly. So at this level of the politics, is the last leg of the politics, which is of forming government. So I don't think it is there, because if we consider what happened during the 2015, the first term of the President Buhari, he has shown less interest on who is to be the leader of the National Assembly, and the consequences was not good for the government at that time, the first leader, which he has to take some measures during the second chamber, that is at the 9th Assembly. In 2015, if you can recall, President Buhari said he's going to work again. And in democracy, especially in the Nigerian country, it doesn't work like that. The ruling party was supposed to be interested in who are becoming the principal officers, who are going to be the presiding officers of the National Assembly. So I don't think it is early considering the timing of the considering May 29th. I think the tenure of the National Assembly is expiring by either 12th or 14th June.
Yes, exactly.
Good time by now for every serious contender to start showcasing himself to the party leaders and also the government also.
Okay, you made mention that this is the almost the last leg of the electioneering and all that. But you served as minority leader in the Bauchi State House of Assembly. The other question I asked Malam Zango here in the studio was, many of the legislators, will not go back, and now that they are scrambling for these positions, it means more businesses that will impact on people will suffer, especially bills and all that, because attention will not be on them. And by the time they complete the election, we have the 10th Senate, for instance, all those bills will be thrown away. Is this not really a wasted endeavor? Don't you think that there should be continuity of sort in relation to bills and all that before we start discussing the leadership proper?
Hello?
Yeah, did you hear what I said?
No, I can't hear you clearly.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Okay,
Yes,
I said many bills will suffer because by the end of the day, they will be thrown away when the 10th Senate is constituted, because they don't really carry forward businesses from the previous assembly. Do you think this is worth it in a country like Nigeria, where we try to manage resources?
I don't think so, because already the general has started. They are just counting less than 2 months for them to be completely out of their tenure. I think even last week, I think the National Assembly has sat. So most of these bills that we are talking about, that we are thinking maybe they are going to suffer, especially, in the legislature, when it has come to end. So there are a lot of bills for very serious motions that didn't get resolution that might have suffered. Assuming the bill is the first reading or second reading now, before it is committed to the relevant committee to do the relevant legislative work, it will take at least 5 to 6 months, at minimum 4 months. So any bill that is yet to scale the second reading and yet for the committee to start and then do the needful for that bill, definitely Qatar will go with that. So I don't think that will be a very serious issue.
All right. I get it. Okay. Malam Zongo.
The senator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Malam Zongo, who gets what? That is the question of the day. We have now, you have had Orji Uzor Kalu.
Yeah.
He said, in fact, it should go to the southeast.
Yes.
Why southeast? Why do you think he believes that it should go to the southeast? Have they brought enough to the table to warrant the Senate presidency?
Well, that is his belief, but there are other factors, as you say rightly, and I think it's playing out just what happened in 2015 and 2019. Since maybe 2015, the Southeast has lost out, largely because of the politics they have been playing. And for some people like Kalu and Ebonyi and many others who are other in APC who all believe that they should be part of the main politics. They would like to see that they are back into the mainstream politics, that is, into the ruling party and being part of the ruling scheme of things. So I think they are trying to push that agenda.
Yeah, he and Umahi,
for their own, from the southeast. And it is good for them, at least, to go back to their people and say, look, we can be part of this, because already there is an impression, rightly or wrongly created, that the southeast will never team up with APC. And as much from 2015, we have seen it. They have been voting PDP, 2019 PDP, and 2023 they went to LP. So I think people like Kalu would like to say, look, we want to be part of the mainstream politics of Nigeria, so let's move there. Then by the time they get this position, they will have something to tell their people
that, okay, we also have our fair share in the national configuration.
Exactly.
Yes, Honorable Baba, who should aspire for principal office in the National Assembly, in the Senate, for instance, just like in the State House of Assembly? Who can a new member aspire to become a principal officer like Senate President or Speaker in the State House of Assembly?
No, like in the State House of Assembly, especially in Bauchi State House of Assembly, which I believe this will be even in other assemblies. Even a new member that is first-timer can aspire for the seat of the Speaker and get the support of this, and then he can be sworn in as the presiding. But like in the National Assembly, they have their own rules. You must be a ranking senator or a ranking House member for you to be eligible to even buy and contest for the seat of the Speaker or any of the principal office. That is how it is in the National Assembly.
Okay. Now,
yes,
I'm sure you have had voices, even though Umahi did not come out categorically, but many groups have come out saying that rule, that standing rule in the Senate should be set aside so that Umahi, who has 8 years, rounding up 8 years as governor, should come and vie for the Senate presidency. Is that a fair call by those around him?
Yes, there are some people I have the same opinion that rule should be amended so that it will be free for every interested party, because this is democracy. So we are talking about the democracy. We should give a level playing ground for everybody to come, because there are some people that, because they are not members of the National Assembly, but they are highly experienced in their field of endeavor, which the House itself stands to benefit from their years of experiences in governance, that they will likely push them away simply because they are not members of the National Assembly, or they have never served or elected to be members of the state or National Assembly. I would have also that view that this House rule should be amended to give everybody a level playing ground. Assuming a governor who has served for 8 years, and even before then, some of the governors were permanent secretaries, some of them senior civil servants. After their retirement, they now have the opportunity to be the governor to serve their state. So they have mingled with the National Assembly, with the old arm of government, with the presidency, and their experience will count so much in things to be done in the right way in this country. So I also have this view, just like many others have emphasized.
All right.
Express their views that this company should be eliminated from the roots.
All right. Malam Zango, do you share the same view with Honorable Baba that that ground rule that you must be a ranking member to aspire for Senate President, or maybe any of the, big offices there, that you mustn't be a member of the House?
Yeah, I share the same view, because society is dynamic, life is dynamic. So I think you find that rule is always being made by those who are leaving. Yes, not those who are coming. I think if we are talking of democracy, we should allow those who have come in a new fresh, like the 10th and Assembly, after they are swearing in, they can set up their ground rule within which to work. Yeah. You remember the problem we had in 2015? Some people are saying that, I think it even led to a litigation against Saraki and the clerk of the National Assembly. That they smuggled in a new house rule. And when was that done? It was before the swearing of the 8th Assembly, I think, So I think it's fair, if you are talking of democracy, to allow those who are going to work with that rule to do their own rule, to lay their procedures, reflect the reality, because the reality of 2019 may not be the same as in 2023. And I believe, as he said, some of these people who are contesting or vying for this position, they have been very experienced people before they won their seat, or they are coming to the legislature. So I think they are mature people, and I think they can manage the assembly. So I think for democracy, for fairness, it should be left open.
I remember reading somewhere, I think at the height of the leadership tussle at the U.S. When Nancy Pelosi was about moving, that they started contemplating even seeking for people from outside to vie for the speakership.
Exactly. So you see how it can go to the extreme.
So Honorable Baba, in the present equation, obviously your party, the APC, will produce the Senate President. But in your opinion, which zone should have a say? Which zone do you think should produce the Senate President?
Hello?
Are you there?
Your line is breaking.
Yes, I say which zone should produce the Senate President? Being a member of the APC, and obviously the APC will have the majority to have its way to produce the Senate President. So which zone? We have 6 geopolitical zones. Yeah, maybe while we stabilize the line, maybe I should have your...
Actually, it's not very easy for, I pity the APC to come out with the formula. Because as at now, I think the tussle is more between the Northwest and the Southeast. Obviously, the Southwest and the Northeast have been ruled out.
Northwest, because Northeast they produce the vice president.
The Southwest is the president. And I think the North Central is targeting the speakership for the, apart from Sani Musa, who is from
because
Niger,
we have Sani Musa, who is from Niger State.
But when you look at what he said, that look, he was going to wait for the APC
Maybe
or
he's warming his way to Deputy Senate President.
Probably, I think so. So I think the tussle is between the Northwest and the Southeast. The Northwest is, I think their strong position, or the position they hold strong, is the fact that they really helped largely to produce the president. So it's now a payback time for them. If you look at,
and it is from Northwest that we have Yari, who also wants that ground
Jibrin Barau,
yeah,
who wants to do that. But that is it. And for the Southeast, they feel that, look, this is the time to unify the country. So look, let's, and you know, it played out last time, both in 2015 and 2019, when the Southeast said, look, let's have a chance to come into the system so that we can be part of the mainstream politics. And they were not listening at. Maybe this time around, APC will have another think and say that, look, we will do that for you now.
But I heard that quietly, Senator Akpabio, who could be seen as a ranking senator, right? Since
yes.
he's not coming for the first time.
Yes.
That he is also aspiring to be the Senate president from the South.
Yeah, that is another possibility. But you see, this is the issue of this ranking or non-ranking. Akpabio defected, moved to APC, and he won the election as Senate the first time, and he was given a chief whip of the exactly. Yeah. So without any consideration,
so the laws are not actually cast.
Exactly, they are not cast.
Okay, we now have Baba. Honorable, the question I asked was, in your opinion, as member of the APC, of course, you have the majority as far as the 10th Senate is concerned. Which geopolitical zone you think should produce the Senate president?
So, for me personally, party have decided his own Senate presidency. It's okay by me. But as a matter of fact, and for fairness, there's no harm when the Southeast are given the chance. Because I can see there are prominent people among strong members of the party aspiring to that field. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. And it will also work as a stabilizing force in bringing peace to that region of the Southeast. They have been trying in times to be considered as the Senate president at one time or the other. But I think on the Senate presidency to the Southeast is going to be very fair. But I want to caution that to avoid what happened in 2015, for every government to stabilize, the entire arms of government must work in harmony. The executive and the legislature are very important tools in coordinating government concerns. So, you remember in 2015, Buhari asked no hand in the emergence of the Senate president at that time. But in 2019, and in the 9th Assembly, it was advised that he must have interest for whoever is going to emerge as the leader of the House. So I think the president-elect, as a thoroughbred politician, is not going to make that mistake, and he must ensure that somebody highly credible has come and occupy that seat because of the internal harmony between the executive and the legislature. So by and large, APC will constitute majority in that house. They have several very experienced people in the legislature in every geopolitical zone, in every geopolitical zone of the country. But for fairness, to the Igbos, for the people of the Southeast, there is no harm if the APC have some people from the Southeast.
All
South.
right. You raised two
So,
key issues,
there are
Honorable Baba.
Yes.
Yeah, the issue of fairness and the issue of bringing stability. There will be more questions on this, whether there is truly fairness in politics. But we will go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and follow us live on YouTube. I still have Mala Yusuf Zongo, our in-house analyst and opinion editor at Daily Trust, in the studio, and Honorable Baba Suleiman, who joins us via telephone. You heard Baba talking about fairness, talking about carrying other people along. But in politics, is there fairness? Because if you look at the statistics, Southeast gave Tinubu just 6%, around 127,000 votes from all the 5 states. Yeah. If you come to South-South, they gave him over 800,000 votes. In fact, in Cross River, over 130 votes, which is more than what he got in 5 states in the South. So can fairness actually play any role here?
Well, the two can go together because, you know, in politics, you look at what you're going to get out of it. So maybe in the long term, because politics is beyond just 4 years or 8 years, it can transcend. So, and sometimes also in politics, you take chances. It's just more especially in this country where they've made politics a business. So in business, you take chances. So I think there also they can. For now, and again, since if they decide that, look, the Senate President can go to the, should go to the South, then at least they have narrowed down the arithmetic. Then they look at the individuals who are coming out from there.
Yeah, maybe since Southwest is out of the equation, it is now between South-South and
the Southeast. Then they start looking at the individuals and see how much can they bring to the table when it comes to future politics of APC. And I think if they can do that, do a good analysis, they'll be safe.
They'll get it right.
They'll get it right.
Okay, Honorable Baba, South-South gave Tinubu 30% of the total votes they cast during the election, while the Southeast gave Tinubu 6%. So you raised the issue of fairness. If the Senate presidency is zoned to the Southeast, don't you think that the South-South will feel shortchanged?
Yes. You know, sometimes politics is beyond just casting the vote, announcing the winner, how much vote do you have. There are other issues that will be considered. That the diplomacy is also part of it. Then the peace, for peace also to end. Sometimes there are other considerations apart from that. If you can recall, when Ahmed Bola Tinubu won the election, he has promised to make a government of national. So even under that pretense, I think there are some policies that you have to scale it down for coordinating the government to have peace and to have more credibility and legitimacy. So sometimes you have to stop looking from the angle of how much vote you get for a particular place or for a particular constituency. So there are things that you consider just for the peace to end and for you to get it right. Anything that can bring peace and what you should consider. Because at this level, you are the president of the country, not for any particular reason. So whether the people that voted for you, those that haven't voted for you, you have a responsibility over every part of this country. So in this case, I don't think that should matter most.
Okay, I'm still with you. You know, a few days after the presidential election, the national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullah Adamu, you know, convoked a meeting at the villa where all members and senators elect, you know, they were there to meet with Tinubu. Of course, Tinubu was not there, but he was ably represented by his vice in the person of Senator Kashim Shettima. But at the end of the day, the only thing that the media heard was that the president-elect does not have interest in any person becoming the Senate president. Could that be true? And don't you think that was the impetus that encouraged Senator Barrow and Abdulaziz Yari and Senator Sani Musa to all come out from Northwest and North Central to say they also want to be Senate president?
Like I have told you, in the APC, there are a lot of highly competent people from the political place in the country. But depend on the politics at that time. There are sometimes in politics with an intention to remedy a loophole somewhere. So as the people are now available, showing their interest to become the Senate president. So we'll keep monitoring to see what is going to happen. Maybe I believe the president will not say he's not interested on whoever is going to that. He wants to be interested in the Senate president. But like I have told you earlier, there are a lot of considerations. That is the zone to the southeast. Don't be surprised, they also zone it to the north or anywhere, depending on the intendment of what is targeted to be achieved. So as before the time, we will see a lot of politics that are coming, that are playing in, and I'm sure Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be ahead or will be very much interested on who is going to be the Senate president. But until then, we'll keep monitoring the event as it's going as it's being unfolded.
Okay. Yes, Malam Zongo, why do you think people are interested in taking some of these offices? After all, the principal officer, Senate President, Deputy Senate President, right? Chief Whip, Deputy Chief Whip, isn't it? Minority Leader, Majority Leader, and all that. Why are they interested? Because you see them making a lot of consultations, putting adverts, sponsoring opinions, and all that. What is there in taking these positions?
Well, I think they are in a better position to tell you the answer. But I think in this country, most of the politicians want to be at the center of issues and the national focus. So you find that somebody, look at David Mark was there for 8 years, and
as president of the Senate.
And you look at Ekomere Ramadu, who spent 8 years with David Mark. He went ahead to have a quick arrangement with Bukola Saraki.
Yes.
And he had another 4 years. Oh. So a typical Nigerian politician doesn't want to lose out or doesn't want to be out of the national focus.
They have obsession
for power. So it's for us, it is normal thing to, they fight over it and they do whatever you think they can to do that. And you remember how easily before 2015, when we had a high turnover of these principal officers. So And sometimes you find the executive also wants to have somebody whom he wants to work with. And even before, mostly before 2015, we had situation whereby if the principal officer or the Senate president or speaker fell out to the president, that's the end of it, and he goes. Yes. So largely, those are the two issues. The executive wants somebody whom they can call, look, is with me.
Partner in crime or whatever.
The urge to be in the national limelight.
Okay, Honorable Baba, you served as minority leader in the Bauchi State House. Are there some special privileges that some of you enjoyed that people scrambled to become, leaders, and principal officers? Yeah. Are there some special privileges that you people enjoyed during your time?
No, there are privileges. Once any position comes with the responsibility, and that responsibility also comes with selected person. Unlike, a state assembly should very smooth, yes, but at the National Assembly, most of these principal officers, there are some opportunities and privileges that an ordinary member or an ordinary senator cannot do. Right. Let's look at it in this manner. As soon as the members go elect, members of national assemblies were swept in. There is a committee that is called a selection committee.
Okay.
That selection committee comprises of all the principal officers, from the Senate President down the least principal officer in the House of Assembly. So they now constitute the selection committee. And I think in each geopolitical zone, there is one or two people who are to represent that zone. So if you combine the combination of all these people, form a selection committee. And this selection committee, part of its responsibility is to establish all committees of the National Assembly. Any member, their membership, the members, they are the ones to select and now form every committee you can see in the National Assembly, including the Committee on Appropriation, any other committee that you can see. So you see, these are part of the privilege of you to be a member, to be a principal officer in any of the assemblies. So I'm just giving an instance of one of the privileges that we have.
Okay, you have heard Honorable Baba talking about some of the privileges. Is that the ideal? Because in some places, personally, I visited some legislative houses in other countries. They are just one among equals. Maybe while they are driving in, you see them with maybe additional car for security, which is fair enough. But here, you see a principal officer like a governor or a president.
It goes down from the president to maybe a councillor in this country, because in this country, unfortunately, we look at a political office not as a privilege, a place to get privileges, not to serve. So that's the major problem we have, and I think, and we're not making effort, unfortunately, to change the situation. And I think maybe it's time for Nigerians to look, step back and say, look, can we continue this way? Because when you look at it, most of our budget ends up in the recurrent expenditure. And
how to service
exactly how to service these organs, the executive and more especially the executive and the legislature, the judiciary. They guzzle billions every day, and it continues since maybe even before 1999, and only that now it's getting more and more because out of hand. You see, so you can't compare what's happening now with what happened in 1979. The expenditure was not as much. Maybe and our earnings are always dwindling. So I think it's good for us as a country or as Nigerians to sit down and reflect and see that, look, you are there principally to serve, not to be served. And I think unless we do that, it will continue.
All right. Honorable Baba, what do you think the president-elect should do? What influence should he have in the emergence of both Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Senate President, for instance, not to have a repeat of what happened in 2015?
Oh, I don't think learning from past experience, he will be vulnerable to make that mistake, because he's a thorough politician. He served as a governor for 8 years. He knows better than any other person why there should be cordial relationship between the executive arm of government and the legislature. And especially in the Nigerian context, you need to work together as a team with the National Assembly and the executive. And I believe the president-elect, he is very dynamic politician, versatile and experienced. He already has prior experiences on how to relate with the legislature and the executive as a governor. So I don't think we will have a repeat of what happened in the 2015. And being also, you are members, a lot of them in the National Assembly, and I don't think the government will really have this kind of challenges, like a conflict between the legislature and the executive. And I'm sure the president-elect is a thoroughbred politician. He's a technocrat who does have to assist with our prayers and support as Nigerians for him to be able to actualize all his dreams as contained in his blueprint or the manifesto of his party. Nigerians have their fears and hope in this government of the Ahmed Bola Tinubu. But what we will do as Nigerians is to give him the maximum cooperation and support for him to be able to succeed, especially as a member of the APC. The members of the APC have experienced a sustained neglect from the past successive years because of lack of reward system. Reward system in the form that most of the 8 years of Buhari administration, the more beneficiaries are from the PDP and other stuff. But I hope in this administration of Bola Tinubu, he has promised to reverse that trend in a manner that every committed, hard-working party member will be rewarded accordingly. And he has promised a lot of things. Look at the issue of us, even before the president has not been sworn in, but they said ASU will never go on strike again. So there are a lot of hope from Nigerians expected of the president with the aspiration and the expectation of Nigerians. And we also continue in our prayers to give him the maximum support for the government to be able to succeed.
All right. Lastly from you, maybe briefly, do you think it will be a tea party for the incoming government? Because both Senate and House of Representatives, you have representation from many political parties. You have Labour Party, PDP, NLPP, APC, Young People's Party, you know, quite a number.
Yeah, I look forward to a robust National Assembly this time around because, as you said, it's made up of so many parties.
Diverse background.
Diverse background. And especially those who are finding their ways into YPP, LP, it's an opportunity for them to lay a foundation
to prove
themselves for the future. Okay. And the country needs that.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Yusuf Zongo, our in-house analyst, for coming to the program, for your robust contribution. Honorable Baba Suleiman, thank you very much for joining us via telephone from Bauchi. We really appreciate your contribution. And viewers, this is where we come to the end of the program, which we hope you enjoy. Do join us again for another interesting package. For now, bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.